Hey guys, I want to talk about something. Um, it seems like a lot of people, we prep for an SHTF situation to thrive while we're surviving. But there are some other YouTube channels out there that's pushing you want to prep to for combat in an SHTF situation. And by the gear you get, by the clothes you get, by I've seen them, I've heard them. If you don't have an AR, if you don't have an AK, you're gonna die. You're not gonna make it through an SHTF situation without a semi-automatic rifle. It's crazy. I'm sorry for this wind blowing. We just had a storm roll through. Let me head over this way. It's the same thing. I've done my bug out first aid kit, and I got a lot of good comments, a lot of good ideals, but I received a message. This person, had a list of stuff I've never heard of, and I know when I was in service, they didn't have half that stuff. One thing that sticks out is a combat medical surgery kit. Why do I need that? I'm not a surgeon. I don't know how to cut open somebody and take a bullet out of somebody. How many people on here watching this video knows how to do that? Or has done that? Now, a lot of people think because they go out and they buy the gear, they might have a $1,500 medical backpack full of the every gear, all the medical they need, tubes, tourniquets, whatever. And they read books and they watch videos and they think they're a surgeon, going to be a combat surgeon. I've got some good sub-friends on here that's nurses. And they'll have to agree. I hope they agree with me, because this is the way I see it. And I'm trying to sit down here, get out of this wind. Being a EMT or being a nurse does not qualify you or make you a doctor slash surgeon, because the EMT is there to help you get to the hospital. The nurse is there to help stabilize you for the doctor to get in there to save your life. Now, am I wrong there? I don't think so. Because I've never heard a nurse or an EMT doing open heart surgery on a patient to save their life. This list blew my mind. And I'm like this. It reminds me of these guys that gets on here in their military get up and go uniforms, if you want to call it that, and they talk all this military crap, and people buy into it, and they think if they go get the gear and the weapons, and they get out and they shoot mannequins and paper targets, and they watch videos and watch them hunker down like they're special ops, they're military. They're a bunch of G.I. Joe Rambo wannabes, because being military is not just not having the gear and having the weapon. You have to have the skills, the knowledge, the mindset, the military mindset. And the only way you can get that military mindset is being in the military. Just like a nurse or an EMT, like our medic. He was there to take care of us when we got shot or we got hurt, to stabilize us, to get us on a helicopter, to get us medevaced back to where the doctors and the surgeons were to save our life. Medics lost lives. Surgeons lose lives. Nothing's a guarantee. But for these people who go out and they buy this military or emergency room medical gear and watch a few videos and read a few books, and they think they're a surgeon, they're going to kill a lot of people. They're going to put a lot of people through agonizing, they're going to make them have an agonizing death. Because number one, do they have a clean operating room so no infections can get in there? No, they don't. Do they have anesthesia to put the person out? Now, I'm not talking about pain pills. I'm not talking about alcohol. I'm talking about the stuff they stick in your arm and make you say, all right, count to 10. And you go 1, 2, and you're out. You wake up a few hours later. Do they have the training to watch that person's heartbeat, their breathing, their pulse? Do they have the machinery in their little backpack they go out and they buy? No, they don't. Do they have the medical for the after treatment? No, they don't. We as preppers are prepping to survive an SHTF situation. I've heard people, oh, I've got an EMT in my group. I've got a nurse in my group. I don't have no problems. Is that EMT or is that nurse medically certified to be a surgeon? Can they go in there and can they cut around the main arteries and the main organs and get in there and get what needs to be? Can they go in there, say you bust a spleen? Can they go in there and get that spleen out and heal it up? Or say your appendix rupture. Can you go in there and cut that appendix out? I doubt it very seriously. Say you have a heart attack. Can they go in there and can that nurse or that EMT open up your chest, go in there, put a stent wherever it is in your heart and get your heart beating again? I doubt it very seriously. People needs to stop being brainwashed into these YouTube channels who blow smoke up their butts. If you are not trained to be a surgeon, you're not a surgeon. If you're not trained to be a nurse, you're not a nurse. If you're not trained to be an EMT, you're not an EMT. If you have not been in military to become a soldier or a Marine or whatever, you're not that. I don't care how much store-bought crap or online crap you buy, you're not military. We prep to survive. If you're prepping to go into combat, you're a fool and you're going to die and you're going to get the people around you and your family dead. Plain and simple. Now, I done a video. It was called Prepping and Firefights Don't Go Together a ways back. Go check that out. I'm a carpenter by trade. I have the tools of the trade. I have been on job sites where these guys come up with all this brand new tools and tool belts and stuff, tools they went out and they bought, and they come on the job and they say, I'm a carpenter. I read this book and I've read this book and I've watched this video. I'm a carpenter. The boss man would say, hey, Mike, take this guy over here and see what they know. 10 minutes later, they were getting either demoted or they were leaving the job site frustrated because they were laborers pretending to be a carpenter, and I blew them out of the water. Am I an expert carpenter? No, I'm not. But I do know how to read blueprints. I can build a house from scratch, no problems whatsoever. These guys didn't know nothing. And this is what people's going to be like. They think because they go out and they listen to these other videos, these other channels, so they can sell stuff for their sponsors, medical and military stuff. And they go and they fall for it, and then they watch a few videos and they read a few books, and they think they're military. They think they're a doctor. They think they're an herbalist. They think they're something they're not, because they've been brainwashed. Unless you go to school for 5 to 12 years and have the medical skills, the medical training, the hands-on training, the classroom training, everything, you're not a surgeon. I don't care how much gear you buy. Why does a person, me and you, why do we need a military surgical kit in our first aid? If somebody gets shot, there's a 70 to 80% chance we're going to die, or that person's going to die. I don't care if you have an EMT there or you have a nurse there. That EMT and nurse is to stabilize the patient. It's not to do surgery on the patient. You're going to need a surgeon to go in and remove the bullet. If you don't have one of them and you let some yahoo go in, and just because they've read a book and watched a video and they went out and bought the equipment, the tools, or whatever you want to call it, and you let them operate on you, you're taking a 99.9% chance of dying from a failed operation. I mean, a first aid kit to a prepper is for cuts, scrapes, sickness, diarrhea, hemorrhoids, ingrown toenails, ticks, stuff like that. Perfect example. Say you or somebody you know fall and they have an open compound fracture in their leg or their arm. What are you going to do? How are you going to fix that? Do you know how to set it properly? Can you set that bone properly? Now I'm going to hear people say, oh, you grab it and you pull it until it pops into place, then you put a bandage on it and you put a plaster cast on it. And yeah, then two things are going to happen. Gangrene is going to set up from the open wound that can't be taken care of, and the sweat and everything, and it's going to set up, and that person is going to have to get their leg cut off from gangrene infection, or they're going to die either way. Second, who's to say when you go to set that bone that a piece of bone don't hit an artery and that person starts to bleed out from internal bleeding? Are you going to be able to see what you're doing? No, because you don't have an x-ray machine. I mean, I can take a sutures, and if I get a cut where I'm not seeing bone or ligaments or anything, I can sew that up. Yeah. I've dislocated my fingers before, broke my fingers. I can pull them and tape them where they're, you know, like I said, this one right here, that's as far as it gets. Because I should have went to the doctor. Because I put that knuckle up and I popped it back as far as I could. But I knew if I went to the doctor, I'd probably go to jail. So I done it myself. And that's as far as I can straighten that finger up. That little pinky right there. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. My point is, we don't need all this gear people's pushing. Now, I'm talking military gear and this medical gear. You know, if you want to watch videos, Hubless Cat. He's a nurse from Canada. He gives some good medical advice. Patriot Nurse gives good medical advice. Take that advice, the basic advice, because that's what we are. We are civilians when it comes to the medical world. We don't know. So we have basic, and hopefully somebody will be around that has more knowledge than me. Hubless Cat, he is a nurse. He has more knowledge about medical than I do. Just like I have more knowledge in the military field than he does. Because he was never in. I don't believe he was. I could be wrong, but he's never mentioned it. You know, or hunting. I have more hunting experience than he does. Or trapping experience than he does. But he has more gardening skills than me. He has more medical skills and training than me. I hope you guys understand where I'm going. You know, I like Hubless Cat. I like him. I really do. He's a cool guy. But I'm just trying to make and if you haven't checked his channel out, go check his channel out. But I'm just trying to make a point. You know, be careful of getting drawn and suckered into buying all this stuff we really don't need. We're not prepping for combat. We're prepping to keep us and our family thriving as we're surviving a shit hit the fan situation. I'm going to avoid a firefight to the best of my abilities. Because where I'm at, there's nobody knows how to dig a bullet out of me. Now I'm going to hear, oh, if I get shot, I'm just going to get a piece of wood, drink a half a bottle of Jack, bite that wood, and let them take a knife and cut that bullet out, then fill it full of gunpowder, set it on fire, boy, I'll be ready to go. They're full of shit. This ain't no John Wayne walking around here. This ain't the movies. If you do that, there's a lot of things that could go wrong with that situation. I'm not no doctor, but I can think of what happens if you burn an artery shut and you don't get no blood going to your feet. You're going to lose your foot. You're going to turn around, you're going to do that, and you're going to have a 3rd-degree burn on top of a bullet wound. Do you have the ointment to take care of that along with a bullet wound? Once that alcohol wears off, you're going to be in some intense pain from being shot and having a 3rd-degree burn. Tell me I'm wrong. You know, I'm not an expert at this, but I do use my common sense. And if it smells like shit and it looks like shit, guess what, people? It's shit. And a lot of these YouTube channels pushing this military crap and pushing this medical crap is shit. They're just doing it to get money for themselves and their sponsors. They're really not looking out for us. Canadian Prepper, he sells survival gear. He goes out and he uses the survival gear he is selling. I like the hell out of Canadian Prepper. He's a businessman. but he's using YouTube right way. He's not going out saying you need this or you're going to die like these other channels are doing. He's saying, hey, here's a product. I use it. I like it. I sell it. Buy it if you want to. I like the hell out of Canadian Prepper. But these other ones on here, I can't name the names because it's against the YouTube policy. But you know who I'm talking about. You've seen them before. They get out here and all I'm saying, I want my sub friends not to be brainwashed by this BS. If you don't have the training, you're not an EMT, you're not a nurse, you're not a surgeon. If you don't have the training, the schooling, the hands-on experience, I don't care how much medical you got, you're not it. And if you try to work on somebody, you're going to kill them. Just like these people who's pushing this military tactics and military gear. If you don't have actual military training and you go out there acting like you're a military unit, you're going to get your ass shot off by somebody like me. Now, I'm going to give another example. This video's long, but this is going to be a quick example. Around here, you can jump, skydive. You go and you pay and you tandem jump. You get strapped to another guy who's a skydiver and you jump out of a plane. Well, if you do that a few times, then you get to go solo. Then you certified as a skydiver. Now, in the military, we're called paratroopers. And there's a big difference between a skydiver and a paratrooper. A skydiver's up there acting like idiots, making videos and everything, having fun. When a paratrooper comes out of that airplane or that Chinook, we're coming out of there to do one job and one job only. When we hit the ground, it's to kill everything and anything around us. Now, that's the difference between a skydiver and a paratrooper. And you can use that to say that's the difference between somebody who buys a bunch of medical and reads some books and thinks they're a surgeon to a real surgeon who's been in college 5 to 12 years. I hope this, I'm not trying to be an ass to anybody. I'm not trying to put people down. I'm just getting people to open their eyes and stop, think about what they're getting suckered into. Be careful, because like I said, I don't want to see my friends, my sub-friends get on here and get hurt by somebody pretending to be something or not, or get on there and think they're trying to help somebody and wind up making it worse. I'm just wanting you guys to think about it. Be careful. And I'm sorry this video is long. This is the third time I've done this video, and I can't keep it any shorter because this is a very important video. I hope you guys has last to the end. Anyway, guys, everybody be safe, be careful, tell me what you think, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now, guys.